Hello, my name is Bree Taylor. I am the founder and executive director of TransUnity Coalition. If you are watching this video, then more than likely you have some interest in volunteering with our team. To streamline the process, I have decided to record some really basic concepts and needs of TransUnity Coalition and then just put them in video format. Right now we have two chapters. We have the Michigan chapter, which is where the core operations are headquartered for the organization. And then we have the Ohio chapter, which is another registered second nonprofit down in Ohio. And these are two of the current chapters that we have, but we are also looking to expand into other states as well based on where the demand and interest are for other people out there to take part in our overall mission, which is empower the transgender community across America. So we have a few unique services that our nonprofit is getting off the ground or currently already executing at this time. We've given these different services code names, and so they are Let Life Live, they are Project Out There, they are CPR, they are True Self Expo, and then there's also Unite, and then there's Fight. So let me talk about what those are. So Let Life Live is our relocation assistance program. It seeks to not just provide financial assistance to people to figure out their own way to move. We want to go above and beyond that to actually directly interact with people who are applying for this program to help improve their lives. And the relocation portion requires being able to identify travel networks and pathways across different state lines to be able to get people from point A to point B. We also want to be able to get people housing and employment, because it is not only a matter of let's get somebody out of where they currently live, but the next question is like, well, what is their livelihood going to look like? They're going to be stranded somewhere with no home, with no job, with no network of friends or family, and we cannot do that to people. As somebody who has moved across the country multiple times, I can tell you these are things that are absolutely essential, and therefore such a service needs to provide that as well. The volunteers that we need here, we need people who are willing to help to get the service off the ground, and also people that are willing to do a lot of searching and digging as for the various relocation and travel related needs, different travel routes, to be able to look into different places that offer shelter or have capacity for room and board, as well as to also find employers who would be willing to partner with our organization to offer increased employment opportunities. These are things that require people who can cold call, data mine, and understand that there are different patterns based on different states and counties as to being able to find these resources. Project Out There is the side of our organization which is more journalism focused. It is the side of our organization that has filmmakers and writers, which are two subcategories of this program, because the goal here is to help normalize our community to middle America. And to do that, you must show through story what our community, what the day in a life is like for somebody, which I guarantee you, you know just as well as I do, the day in a life is just as boring as the day in a life of anyone else. And that is something that goes a long way to normalizing a marginalized community. The writing side of our team, we currently have a few writers who are creating articles and really tapping into their own personal writing capabilities. We basically are developing an editorial team within the organization to structure the different ongoings that our writers will have. There's also an element of strategy here, because we need to have our writers on the same page about different needs, different stories. And if you're interested in writing, then I would love to get you onboarded there, because it's something that's already currently happening. On the filmmaking side, we also have a very similar goal of normalizing our community through story, through video. If you've ever watched something on YouTube that covers a theme or a topic, you more than likely have seen some that are incredibly powerful and incredibly moving. Somebody who just wants to chill on a Friday night and click through different YouTube videos, they could see something like that and it could click for them. So that's the kind of thing where we want to be able to build content. We are looking for volunteers there who have film experience or film interest. We also would definitely benefit from those who may already have equipment that they can lend to us, because being a smaller organization, we do not have a budget to buy equipment immediately. So CPR is going to be our life-saving technique service. So currently, we do actually offer free CPR training to those who fit under that transgender umbrella. And this is because I am a former EMT. I'm currently a certified CPR instructor through the American Heart Association. Right now, we currently only offer CPR, but that's because I do not have a certification to teach first aid, although I can get that, but that is something that comes in time. Likewise, we want to add self-defense to the service as well, so that ultimately we're teaching CPR, first aid, and self-defense, but that requires instructors who understand that. I do not, so therefore I'm not in a position to teach that. But we definitely have had people out there who have said, hey, I know this particular martial arts, and I have taught self-defense courses in the past. I would love to help. So that is something that we're looking for, people who want to be able to be on the teaching side of that and directly showing others those skills. And then likewise, those on the coordination side of that to be able to take part in a little bit more of these simple needs of like scheduling appointments, getting people connected to us, even just promoting the fact that we offer these services to the community. True Self Expo is our art platform. This is part of our organization that wants to promote and highlight transgender and non-binary and other gender expansive artists out there, because there is an important need in the mission of normalizing our community to Middle America to do that through art and expression. It just hits differently, and we would love to find people that love art. They live and breathe art as a passion. And if you're somebody who is an artist, also reach out too. We would love to have your perspective on the team to inform the directions of things that we do. Unite is basically the code name for our in-person events, and this is because we have a national scope and there's a lot of ground to cover, but we also want to have safe spaces where people can actually meet their local community and be able to feel seen, comfortable, safe. So like, what kind of events are we actually looking at? Well, really anything, right? Like face painting nights, mental health days, having a book reading, things that are, as you imagine, stereotypical events. Literally just community gatherings. They can be small, they can be very humble, they can be larger. But the centered focus is creating a safe space for the trans and non-binary community, and that isn't something that all events typically accommodate. And these are events that are non-political because they are meant to be more down to earth, just hanging out, just having fun, just meeting people in the community. However, that is Unite. And then there's also the other side, Fight, which is meant for our actual political events. So this can look like things like meeting to lobby bills in different states. This can look like meeting to have a sit-in in a state capitol to make our voices heard. We've had a number of rally events across the country in double-digit numbers of states and DC, and this is something that we are recurringly doing. We're going to be doing more of these. The next thing as of making this video is going to be our Pride Month return to Washington, DC. Because we are a 501c4 pending, we are permitted to create events that are political in nature. Ones that we can call out certain people by name, ones where we can endorse certain people by name, one where we can speak about legislation or the system and its flaws and how we can work with it to build a better country for all of us. So that takes different needs depending on who wants to have fun, chill events because they are a little less stressful. Not that event coordination isn't stressful, but a little bit less stressful. And then our political demonstrations and events, which have higher stakes and, because of a 501c4 status, have specific needs that go into that as well. These are all different volunteer duties that we do not want to have a single volunteer cover all of them. This is definitely enough where we can comfortably say, getting all this stuff off the ground, to get all this off the ground is already a major success and no small testament to the power of our community. We need you right now. We need you to reach out to us to say, hey, and we will make sure there's a way for you to reach out to us, because if you have an interest, we are interested in you. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, you are also totally free to ask them as well. Thank you for your time, and please have a wonderful day.